Hello friends and adventurers, and welcome back to Sally Cat Plays Exile 3, Ruined World. So remember how I was complaining earlier about not having Move Mountains still? I forgot that at some point I went and bought Shayder, which is Move Mountains, but even better. So good news, we do get to explore the sewers today. And also deal with some more roaches, because of course there's roaches in the sewers. Two roaches is hardly worth a fireball, but they... Wait, can I even cast that without burninating half my party? Maybe not. Also, forgive any clumsiness here, my cat Garnet is, once again, demanding ownership of one of my hands. Put down another shatter here because I can. Ooh, I see a shiny rock. And with that graphic, it is most likely a sapphire. A crumbling stairway leads down to what your nose tells you can only be a sewer. You think you hear a soft hissing noise from below. Go down? And this is Beware Dangerous Sewers, trained sanitation workers only beyond this point, by order, same thing as last time. It's good to have Cure Party. The downside to Shatter, of course, is that I've spent basically all of my spell points. Archery sometimes does decent damage, but its main benefit is 2 attacks per round. Okay, no more nearby roaches. And Stephen, do you have any energy potions? You do. Wonderful. Thank you for not poisoning me this time. So, several unfortunate Shayder guards were trapped in this cave by the roaches. They met an unfortunate fate in an unfortunate place. Yep, that's some dead folks. And some weapons that might be decent? Well, I see they died with their boots on anyway, and chainmail and helmets. If I felt like lugging around what is probably bronze chainmail, I could do so. Haha, big roach can't get me from there. And I can't go any farther this way. Oh, Spore Beast. There's a change. Yet more levels, and not enough gold to do much about it. There's a boat securely tied to the docks ahead. It's big enough to fit your party. Huzzah! But first, more roaches. Ah, equip some arrows. Can do. Oh, I can have my hand back. Thank you so much, Garnet. Is there anything in here? No. Alright then. Sometimes I consider getting a webcam set up, not so much for my face, but so that I can show off just how adorable Garnet is being. You try to row upstream, but the current is just too strong to go any farther. And more roaches that came from somewhere. The river starts getting faster as you head downstream. You see ahead that the roof ahead descends to meet the disgusting water. You row back upstream before your boat gets smashed up, and you drown in an unusually unpleasant way. Even more roaches have spawned in, and there's another big one. Blech. Alright, cure party time! Cure party does nothing for disease. And there was absolutely nothing in there except for a huge roach. Hello, other boat I can't do anything with. Well, I could just swap out boats. Stop that. And that. Oh, I did not need to do that. Who else has energy potions? Garnet has medium and strong. And now we can make with the curing. Yeah. Hi. You see a grate in the ceiling above, with bars spaced wide apart so trash can be thrown through. Sunlight pours through, although, unfortunately, there's not much fresh air. Garbage, and enormous roaches, is heaped everywhere. Time to cleanse this place with fire! I said cleanse! That's more like it. Well, if what the sailor up above told us is true, there should be a wand down here. Also lots and lots of garbage. Oof, Connie's down to 26 hit points. That is not great. Okay, and that is all that the sewers have to offer us. Well, plus roaches. I don't even want to deal with you anymore. And that door is locked. Okay, that is about it for the city of Shayder. I could get a couple things identified, but it turns out Sarah the Mage is one of the more expensive identifiers that I've discovered so far. I might as well cure Pearl so that I can actually rest. Oh, monsters nearby that are actually friendly guards. A band of highly armed and alert priests approach and greet you. They tell you they're an anima patrol, looking for either cockroaches or diseased people. When they see you're just adventurers, not roaches or poor townspeople, they move on. So it wouldn't matter if I was diseased or not, they wouldn't feel the need to deal with me. Great. Anywho, off-screen I did decide to take that rush delivery job to Pergis. So I am going to go down to the... well, first I'm going to deal with this. You work your way through the thick forest, the canopy of branches overhead blocking out most of the sun's light. This island would be rather beautiful, if it weren't for the horrors that you know infest it. You suddenly hear a soft hissing noise, coming from all around you. The underbrush shakes, and the sounds come closer. Soon, you are being chased by a large group of hideous, Doberman-sized cockroaches. Well, that was downright tame compared to some of the fights I've been getting into. Shayder to the northwest, South Point Lighthouse to the south. Beware of roaches, burn your trash. But I will come back to South Point Lighthouse in a bit because Port Townsend can get me where I need to go. Quarters D. Yeah, some of these towns have quite a lot of, effectively, barracks housing their townspeople. A large ogre stands by the dock, holding a roll of tickets. You think it's a female. A small cloud of flies buzzes around her. She speaks, showing huge fangs. I called Martha. You better not laugh. I sell tickets to boats. I sailor, but no ships to sail on. She grunts. No ships for sailors like me sail for long time. Bad, bad. I live by selling tickets to small boats to boring places, and by eating roaches. She grins. You try not to look too closely at the stuff between her fangs. Yummy. A ticket for trip back to Farport is very cheap. Only 10 gold. Care to purchase one? She takes your gold, counting it only with great difficulty. Then she tears off your tickets and hands them over. Go to end of West Dock. Okay. And this looks like an inn where no one will talk to me. What a boring town, aside from the dock worker. And the temple, I guess. Aha! I spied some gold in the trash pile. Dumpster diving! Hooray! Port Townsend Weapons, where the extra S is for savings. With a generic weaponsmith, and really poor quality weapons, wow. Best thing they have is a bronze axe. Shrine of the Anima, please wipe feet. A lone priest stands at the Anima altar, lost in contemplation. When you approach, he turns to you and smiles gently. I am Father Rice of the Anima. Greeting. The Anima Church is the dominant force of this island. We believe that the use of mage spells in the long run brings more death and destruction than good. Would you like me to share some of my beliefs on the subject with you? I provide guidance to Port Townsend. It is my holy task, and, as a priest of the Anima, I will carry it out to the fullest. Port Townsend is one of the more successful villages on this island, despite only having 2 interesting buildings. So far, we have been only somewhat afflicted by the cockroach plagues and the diseases they bring. We know not why, but the fair Isle of Exile has been beset by a mighty plague of foul and disgusting cockroaches. Fortunately, we have the Anima to guide us, and to help fight the diseases they brought. The Anima leads us from Shayder, the largest city on this island, and home of the Anima Church. It is not far to the northwest. Yeah, I think the game expects you to enter the Isle of Exile first through Port Townsend, from Farport. But I'm having fun doing things in unusual order. This isle has not been settled long, and we have not achieved the level of comfort of other areas. The Anima still generally live in groups of barracks, led by one priest or mother who gives guidance. We hope to be established enough that everyone can have a private home as soon as possible. Our living in barracks tends to make people think the Anima are a cult. We are not a cult. Travel the island and speak with us, and I think you will find we are very level-headed. Would you like to hear some of our beliefs? Father Rice says, nobody denies that the works of mages can do good. However, The plagues that afflict us show that a deranged mind can create an equal amount of evil. Do you agree? Well, yeah, a deranged mind can create evil with many tools. Magic or not. Well, the Anima may not be fans of magic, but it does seem that they are pretty tolerant of other humanoid races. No idea how they'd react to the troglodytes. Probably they wouldn't take too well to troglodytes trying to murder and pillage everything. Anyway, I'm going to make that delivery in Perges. See you in a bit. Your cargo is eagerly taken off your hands. You receive a generous payment and profuse thanks. Why the Empire is sending orders to an innkeeper in the farthest corner of Valorum, I have no idea. Also, a slight dialogue change after ending the slime plague. She sighs. They say the slimes are all dead, but there's still a few of them around. I try to keep my daughter indoors, but she won't have any of it. Also, this is where I can pick up Move Mountains. And Minor Mana, if I feel like doing so. Okay, Move Mountains is a little more pricey than I remembered. Now then, back to Exile. I could actually use Ernest Teleporter to teleport straight back to Shayder instead of walking, but really, it's just as easy to go through Farport and take the ferry. Bit cheaper, too. Oh right, Vox sells tickets to both Port Townsend and Sharamik. I always forget that. That's, another teleport destination that I probably won't be using from Ernest, then. Go to the end of the dock on the left and wait. At the end of the dock, a boat waits to take you on the one-day trip across to the city of Port Townsend on the Isle of Begale. The trip is uneventful, except for a serious, racking attack of seasickness. Years in exile have left you very leery of voyages on the open sea. Eventually, mercifully, you arrive. He said one day, maybe he meant to say one way, because one day has not passed. Also, I remembered that there's a scribe in Port Townsend who also does identification for relatively cheap. And I found that the weapons I picked up from the sewers are bronze mace, bronze flail, and an iron flail. The magic mace ultimately has better damage because of its magical bonus. But the iron flail does have better base damage. Flails are very sophisticated bashing weapons. They consist of one or several spiked metal balls attached to a wooden handle by short chains. Flails take great skill to use, and bonking oneself on the head while learning to use them is not uncommon. So eventually I will find some place to sell a few things, or just go back to Shayder. Point of Contemplation to the west, and South Point Lighthouse farther southeast. Yep, it's a lighthouse. And it's got sheep! And no obvious secrets, at least so far. South Point Lighthouse. With a notable lack of zombies. You meet the lighthouse keeper, a wiry, aging man with a misshapen face and a host of tiny scars on his hands and arms. He emits a loud, long belch and chuckles. "Excuse me, I'm Garnak. I take care of South Point Lighthouse. Beats workin'." He grunts. I wouldn't be out here were it not for a few, well, indiscretions in my past. Can't do the old business, but the new business has its points. Why do I feel like you'd be in exile if those indiscretions had happened a few years earlier? He says enigmatically, "The old skills are still active, if that's what you mean. I know you wouldn't have come out here if you weren't interested. Buying or selling?" He then belches enigmatically. How one belches enigmatically, I have no idea. Ooh, I can sell him all my stuff. He gives your things a quick appraisal. Not bad. He makes an offer on each of your identified items, belching at each one for emphasis. Did I really need to know that? I still need to use this gold statue at some point just to see what it does. Scroll of Flame is all but useless. The wand I picked up in the sewers, by the way, is a wand of fireballs. Also, I don't remember where I got the orb of foul vapors. Makes a stinking cloud. A delicate glass orb about 3 inches across. The glass is clear, and through it you can see swirling, colored mist. It's definitely magical. Elegant cannot begin to describe this piece of oak, intricately, lovingly carved into a long, curving shape, with tiny, almost invisible writing covering its entire surface. There's a big fire upstairs. I throw a few sticks into it every day to maintain it. Ships don't founder on the rocks. I get fed. It's a living. And what I can buy from this guy is poison and lockpicks. I would like to buy some fine lockpicks, but I really can't justify spending that much on them right now. And what books you got? Roaches and You? And Magic for Dummies. Whatever this room was originally used for, it's been converted into a workshop dedicated to the care and crafting of crystals. Tiny flecks of quartz dust hurt the inside of your nose. Garnak, you didn't tell me you had a wife. Or friend, or person. The thing you notice most about this woman are her fingers. They're pianist's fingers, or wizard's fingers. They're long and thin, and move with perfect precision. It's probably necessary in order to cut and shape the crystals that surround her. I'm Elspeth. Welcome to my little shop. Elspeth is yet another name that Jeff seems to be repeating on this island. I don't get visitors to my shop often. A month can go by, and the only people I see are the delivery girl and Garnak. My husband. He's crude, crass, unethical, and gross, but I love him anyway. Yeah, men are like that. The Empire sends us food every month. Lately, the delivery girl has come guarded, because of the roaches. So it goes. I work crystals. This is an excellent place for it. Out here, I can concentrate. She pulls out a large, velvet-lined case and opens it. It's filled with an eye-popping variety of crystals. Aren't they beautiful? She winks at you. And they can be purchased, if you're so inclined. She's got regular crystal, piercing crystal, shielding crystal, orb of foul vapors, and an ivory bug, which is not actually a crystal, but sure, why not? Ooh, shielding crystal gives temporary invulnerability, which is why it's so friggin' expensive. So yes, South Point Lighthouse is much more interesting than it appears on the surface. Well, some of it is. To the north, a ramp leads steeply up to the lighthouse lamp. You are halfway up, or down, the ramp up to the lighthouse lamp. You are at the top of the lighthouse tower. A fire burns in a brazier in the middle. It's clearly a magical fire. The small amount of wood in the basin is burning with a far brighter light than you would expect. Very interesting. And I could totally swipe these lamps and torches if I wanted to. Lamps are a very good source of light, but they do weigh kind of a lot. A small library. Most of these books are on locks and locksmithing. There are training guides, treatises on lockpicks and their uses, and of course, lots of fiction featuring locked doors in a prominent manner. There's at least 3 copies of Bluebeard. These shelves contain a host of treatises on crystals. There are books on the finding, working, and magical properties of crystals. There are also tomes on the Vanatai. These are filled with a bold combination of pure guesswork and just plain stupidity. Okay then. And the Faith of the Anima. Not surprising to find on this island. Amethyst, are you still any good at picking locks? Apparently so. You give this book a quick look. It's called The Care and Maintenance of a Proper Empire Lighthouse. It's pretty dusty. Oh no, I've let the sheep in. Wow, these must be really easy locks. Oh, that was a surprisingly useful trip. A group of ogres and bears tromps out of the woods ahead. They're too clumsy to set a good ambush, so they just charge. Oddly, it seems like the ogres are following the bears' lead and not the other way around. And we've got a new enemy type. Ogres, bears, and an ursog. The ursog is this weird purple bear, who I believe is considerably beefier than the average bear. Yep, still standing. Hooray, a whole 9 gold pieces. You examine the bodies of the bears. One of them is larger, misshapen, and lumpy, and most interestingly, has an unusually large skull. It may have been an intelligent bear. It was certainly nasty and cunning enough. Okay, that's the sign telling me that point of contemplation is to the west. Point of contemplation seems occupied by unfriendlies. This was an Anima shrine, a place for thought, discussion, and contemplation. Now it is a ruin. The walls are cracked and moldy, and you hear, off in the distance, the hissing of roaches. One of the roaches dropped some food. I'm sure that's perfectly safe and delicious. I mean, in terms of game mechanics, it is, but... Keeper's quarters. Point of contemplation. Welcome to all. Show respect. Please keep quiet. These roaches are certainly not being respectful. They must die. I'm always amused at these giant roaches that are too big to get through the door. You stand at the entry to the room of contemplation. Large, ornate chairs are positioned in front of broad windows. Through each one, you can see a gorgeous, panoramic view. A beautiful fountain bubbles in the corner. This room was created as a place for meditation and contemplation. No doubt, much thought on Anima beliefs and precepts took place here, before the roaches came. Despite its proximity to the filth-spreading cockroaches, the waters in this fountain are still clean and crystal clear. Take a drink. You drink some of the fountain's fresh crystal water. It tingles as it goes down. You feel very refreshed. No doubt the Anima imbued the pool with some sort of healing energy. It feels like the fluid is purifying your system. Well, it didn't fill my health and spell points, but maybe it does some curing of poison and/or disease. Which would be useful in a dungeon filled with roaches. Oh, Amethyst got diseased and I didn't notice. Okay, it cures disease, not poison. I imagine it's too much of a pain getting here and back home for anyone to reasonably use it as a general cure for disease. I mean, you'd probably just get ambushed by roaches on the way back anyway. Yeah, the assassination skill usually kicks in on enemies that are much weaker than you. cockroach attacks chicken and chicken dies. That's what I heard dying. So much for this study room. Let me guess, is it Faith of the Anima? It sure is. Also, Amethyst is still wearing a shirt for armor. What's wrong with me? Arrows? Arrows! Oh, there were chickens here. Apparently chickens are even weaker than a roach. This was a small anima shrine. However, some large roaches picked apart the altar, bit of stone by bit of stone. There's nothing left but gravel. Very peculiar roach behavior. Very peculiar indeed. There were lots of anima religious texts here. Then the roaches ate them all. Only a few intriguing fragments of parchment remain. Aw. This food I will take. And it looks like there might be something behind the bookcase there. There's space for... Aha! Someone's secret stash. Might be something back here, probably not. Do I have the true sight spell? I do. Yeah, no, that's just coastline. That is all for the point of contemplation. And I don't think I have any chance of exploring that bit of coastline down there. But I can clear out this chunk of island. And then say that we shall continue our explorations next episode. Have a good one, everybody.